Okay, welcome, Glenn Cooper. Welcome to
Hello.
this podcast. How are you this morning?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
Fantastic. It's so wonderful to have you on, and I just want to say thank you for your time this morning. But before we dive in, tell us a little bit about Glenn Cooper.
All right. What do you want to know?
A
That's a long story.
long story.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about your journey and what got you to where you are today and what it is
Well,
that you're doing.
I think that you were actually at a meeting that I was actually coming as a guest speaker one day, and that's how this is originated from. Right.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
told you about my background, my dysfunctional family life, and everything like that. From coming from a drunken alcoholic parents, stepfather and mother, and all that kind of stuff too. Whereas in those days, kids had no voice at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
And, anyway, eventually I started running away from home at 11, ended up in institutions under the age of 18.
Wow.
Right, so in those places, there's two things. You either learn how to fight or you get stood over and used. And as you know, you see a lot of the Royal Commissions and everything.
Mm,
You see a lot of sexual abuse going through institutions and everything like that.
absolutely.
I was lucky last year that I actually, I was actually one. I never got sexually abused in the sense of sexual abuse, but that doesn't mean that we don't get abused in those homes.
Absolutely.
That means to stand around naked in front of other kids. We had I hope people don't mind this, but sometimes you've got to be honest, right? So people know where you come from.
Totally. I agree with you 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
One of those areas in Derek, which was on the 60 Minutes show,
Mm.
I was hunted down and found that, like I was actually in Derek, boys' home. And one of the things was that we talk about sexual abuse, as in penetration and stuff like that. But that's not only sexual abuse can come from a lot of areas.
Mm.
We were made to strip down naked when we first ever got there. Right, we had one medical staff. We used to use his pencil to actually examine us, our private parts and everything like that, make us bend over and put the pencil between, right?
Glenn, that would have been tough. That would have just
Oh,
been
it's degrading and horrible.
totally
And then if you've done something wrong, a lot of times you used to get locked up in a thing, what they call the boob, naked,
right.
and thrown buckets of water over you. Oh, it was absolutely disgusting. So, like I said, there's two things like if you read their reports, they said it was there for rehabilitation. It was actually what I was in Darrick, Mittagong, Mount Penang, and Darrick, government-run institutions were there to rehabilitate and to give you some kind of life. It wasn't. It was actually a school for criminals.
Wow.
I
And
I
you were a kid. You were a kid. You weren't a criminal. You were a kid.
well,
You
you start
needed.
off rejection and insecurity, and and that's building on what
Mm,
you do to you whilst you're in those institutions.
mm,
So, like I said, I learned how to fight. So I should to use it to my advantage, because when I got out at 18, my first ever job was in the 70s, early 70s, was King's Cross, bouncer at the front door of the Pink Pussycat, a strip club.
wow. Wow.
So, I
Yeah.
spent many years in King's Cross working there. I've been stabbed eight times and shot twice.
Jeepers, Glenn.
All right, so so I went through a horrific time, and I know that you're on about leadership and everything like that, but there's sometimes you've got to have a past to be able to build on, because I led a life of crime. I was a pretty
Yeah.
boy. I carried guns, the whole lot. All right, and anyway, I come down to Melbourne in the early 80s, met a lady. Uh, she wanted me out of that lifestyle, so I did. So I actually went to bouncing.
Right.
My security blanket was alcohol and violence.
Because that's all
So
you knew. That's all you knew. Yeah.
that's what I was taught, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't get raped in those boys' homes. I had to learn how to fight,
Yeah.
right? So I had to back myself up.
Absolutely. You know, Glenn, I just want to go back to a couple of points you've made, if that's okay. Firstly, it would have been you know what? I'd be lying if I knew it would have been the most scariest time for you, especially as a child, as an innocent child, having to endure all of that and having no form of certainty, no safe place to go to? That would have been horrible, and I can't even begin to imagine it. um, you know, and I just want to acknowledge you for that. I just want to acknowledge you for that. And you know, and you mentioned leadership before, that I'm on about leadership. Here's the thing, you know, leadership is just a freaking word, and it comes from the experiences that we have.
You're 100% right.
Yes. As a child, Glenn, you needed to develop your inner leader, even back then unconsciously, without even knowing that you were doing it, because you needed to protect yourself.
Oh, you're 100% right, because you had to be better than the other guys.
Yeah.
Right? You have to be able to fight better than you had to be able to survive better, because it is actually like living in a jungle.
Yeah.
We're the fittest, right? And
it's that fight or flight thing, and for you to be able to live, to survive, you needed to bring those, you know, that fight or flight thing. It's like back in the caveman days, it almost was for you.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And you're like, we'll probably talk about it a little bit further down the track. Right, back in the caveman days, the man was the hunter and the wife was the gatherer, the woman was the gatherer, right? But you know, like in my lifestyle, you're only a hunter, you're only only a survivor, and that went right through to even when I got married. You know, like in 1985 when I got married, well, that was a case of having to, because I actually got into a big fight with a heap of coppers. I got locked up. And here I am thinking, well, she's here I go. I'm going to go back to jail, because I've been in Bogger Road, Wakehole, Pentridge and Beechworth. So I've been locked up.
Yeah.
I know. Now, at the time, it's, you know, like people say, well, that's not a bad thing to brag about. But what those things did, right, was build character in me.
Totally.
Right? I was extremely insecure. I destroyed my marriage. My insecurity and rejection. But we were married for nearly 20 years.
Yeah.
Right? In 85, I actually got into trouble. I thought, well, because we learned so much in those institutions, we learned to manipulate the system.
Yeah. It's another survival mechanism. It's another survival mechanism.
Absolutely it is. So I thought, well, what I'll do, so I don't go back to jail, I'll go to church.
Right.
So I went to church, because all my ex-wives' family were all churchies.
Right.
So I went to church because all I was going to get the minister to say, oh, he's been a good boy for 6 months. Right? He's been coming to church regularly. He's, you know, getting involved with this. I thought, I'll suck up. I'll outsmart the judge. Well, that was 17 years in the church.
Wow. That's incredible. So your mindset initially was, I'm going to go to church so that I can manipulate the thing so that I'm a good person in their eyes. But in the end, it actually...
Yeah, no, that's right, because I've done 3 years of Bible college.
Wow.
Diplomas of biblical theology, right? But
that's awesome.
In church, right, I saw people that were in the same situation as I was.
Right.
That were using drugs, that were in violence. So basically what I did, whilst I was in the church, and I was an assistant pastor and stuff like that, I actually worked with street kids, heroin addicts,
right,
like that, working in their lives, because I saw in them what I had. But you know, the problem was, still wasn't fixed.
Yeah.
I still had rejection and insecurity and all that kind of stuff sitting on top of me all the time.
So as you're working with these guys, with these kids, with these children, these beautiful people who needed the certainty and security, you too were fighting your own emotional battles.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I worked in the court system with a bloke by the name of Major Ted Gray out of Dandenong Courts.
Right.
And anyway, he was leading a positive lifestyle program, right? Anchor managements and all that kind of stuff. Right. It didn't happen until I actually left, my wife and I broke up, that I actually realised what I had to do.
Wow.
To change me.
Isn't that amazing?
Because you can sit in a church, right? And I'm not knocking churches and things like that because I still believe, right? I don't go to church anymore.
Right.
One of the key things that I found for me to be a help and a better person and a better guide to people that I work with today even, right, and back then, was to learn the art of forgiveness.
Oh, wow. That's so powerful.
Oh,
So by that, do you mean forgiving yourself?
that was only a minor part of it.
Right.
Just think, you're being brought up by an alcoholic stepfather, right, and a mother. Your real father was an alcoholic as well, right, which I didn't know until I was 40, right? But it was absolute violence.
Yeah. And that's all you knew. And for you, that was the norm.
And, I dead set hate against them.
Yeah.
I'm holding inside of me so much hate towards them.
Mm.
And I'm wondering to myself, why can't I change?
Yeah, yeah.
Why can't I get rid of this insecurity? Why can't I get rid of this rejection? Right? But I hated them so much. I hated my lifestyle, the lifestyle that I led, right? Going through the boys' homes and all the violence that went through there, all the things that happened. And then one day it just clicked on me. It was a bloke that actually preached on it, was unforgiveness. And it didn't really gel for a little bit. And then all of a sudden I realised that, geez, there might be some truth in this.
Yeah.
Right? So then all of a sudden I started forgiving my mother.
Wow.
I didn't forgive the action.
Right.
I did not forgive that because that was wrong.
Yeah.
I gave the person.
That is so powerful, Glenn. The action, the behaviour was wrong, but the person themselves is whom you forgave. I love that.
But it's so true. And it's what I do today, even today when I speak to people and, I can spend time with them, right? It is so true that you must forgive the person. You don't have to forgive the action. And you don't have to have a buddy-buddy relationship with that person.
Absolutely. Because, I love what you said that, and thank you so very much for sharing that, because it is so key right here that the person, we are not our behaviour.
That's right.
We're not born to behave the way we behave. They're learned. And like yourself, you were in this environment full of violence and full of all of what you experienced. But that's all you knew in terms of behavior. It didn't mean that that's who they were, but that's all they knew how to do.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
A great Dr. David Siemens.
Right.
Called Dealing with the Damaged Emotions, right? And I learned this a long time after all this, but I learned a long time ago that you are the product of the moment you are conceived.
Totally.
Right?
Wow.
You see today, like when they talk about playing nice music whilst you're conceived and pregnant and things like that, but it's also the opposite. If you're in an alcoholic, violent domestic relationship whilst you're in conception, and then you're born into that, that is actually what's in your life.
Totally.
Because it's actually growing into your, like some people say, it's a bit of eerie thing, but it's actually growing into your little spirit, your little soul.
It's actually true, Glenn. It really is. I can't agree with you more. And that is all we know, that is our emotions that are created around that. Our beliefs are created around that. Our standards, our whole world is created around that, and we know no different. And so for us, that's okay.
That's so, and that's when I learnt to forgive. It took a long time. Right, to forgive a drunken mother used to be violent. They used to throw me outside naked in the middle of winter with no clothes on. And there was a lady next door, and I can never forget her name. I'm talking 6, 7 years old, Mrs. Grecken.
Wow.
She used to throw food and a blanket over to me. Right? I used to get locked up back in my days, it was outhouses, the old toilets. I used to get locked up in that outside. And then, so much rubbish that went through. And
all that is just not cool, Glenn. It's just not right. It sucks.
Could you imagine that happening today? Parents would be charged and locked up.
Yeah. Totally, totally. And it really, and I just want to say thank you, and I just want to validate and acknowledge you for sharing that, because that's a tough thing to have to experience as a child, for God's sake. I mean,
Mhm.
that's just
It
like,
certainly
it's
is.
unimaginable, it's incomprehensible. Um, and isn't it interesting, if I may, just with your the lady who was feeding you,
Yeah.
that you still remembered her. Um, that's incredible. Tell me, if you don't mind, if it's cool for me to ask, how, often we remember things, we don't remember what people do, but we remember how people make us feel.
Yes, agree. But that's what's so important about, like I said, when I counsel someone, right, and I don't, I don't, look, I know that we suffer mental illness and everything like that, but the person to have a mental illness problem in a lot of ways, and like I'm not saying every way,
Mm,
right, there has to be a deep, deep, deep root. I actually learned,
totally agree with you.
I learned a lot of years ago when, once again, Major Ted Gray taught me this, right? There's the conscious memory, the subconscious memory, but the memory that we have to deal with, and I had to deal with, that's why I never forget Mrs. Grecken, was the unconscious memory,
Yes.
right? Because that is where all the hurts are laying,
Mm.
right? And that's where you've got to get deep, 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 deep down in and deal with a person in their life.
I love that you said that. I love that you said that all of our emotions are deep embedded in our unconscious. And isn't it interesting, when things happen, or when we hear conversations, or when we see or smell things, they trigger an emotion, and that is because it is so deeply embedded in our unconscious.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Totally. Totally. Wow. That's you've had quite the journey, Glenn, and I am so honored to be here with you today, because you are a true leader in my eyes.
Oh,
This thing about putting a title on someone because they're freaking a leader for whatever is just BS when it's not here.
yeah, yeah. No. And
Um,
I hear
and
what you're
so,
saying. I have a lot of arguments about that these days.
yeah,
No, I actually run my own show as well.
yeah.
But
You do some wonderful stuff, Glenn, and I'd love for you to share that with us, if you will.
I will, and it's what happened too. Just to last year, just to put a bit of cap onto dealing with the past and dealing with all that stuff. Right? Oh, fair enough. I learned to forgive it, even in the boys' homes and everything like that.
Wow.
I didn't have a problem, but I was approached, by lawyers to actually go against the New South Wales government in the Supreme Court. And was it last year, I actually went up there and I got a 3-page letter of an apology from the directors of DHS up there for all the violent, all the stuff that I went through in the institutions. Right. And I won't go through the whole lot because they put me through hell again. I told them to shove the letter up there, right?
Yes.
Because we were negotiating a settlement.
Mm,
They kept coming back with these stupid offers, and I said,
mm.
you're not apologetic. Take your letter and stick it up your wherever it can fit.
Right. Yeah.
I don't believe you. But the lady that actually read out the apology, she cried.
Wow.
The director, she actually cried and said, and I believe she was 100% sincere
Mm.
in her apology for what the New South Wales government done to me in the 60s, early 70s.
Wow.
So that come through. But the thing that you said, what I do today, I know, because we can go on for hours.
Mm.
So I do a lot of it. I do a bit of guest speaking
Yeah.
in the place at Lions clubs and Rotary clubs and different other places. Like I do some motivational speaking, because when you look at my past,
Mm.
where I am today, it's chalk and cheese.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is key. That is, I think, so powerful, because that's what got you here.
It is, because it builds up your character.
Yeah.
No, no, I've been in leadership, I've been in management in Toyota and places like that. But what I do today in our community, to me, is the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Right? And as you know, that I went through a work accident. I don't know and I broke my ankle. That's back in
Yes.
2006. I was in and out of a wheelchair for 5 years. As I said, I've had 9 operations on my left leg. Now, as per se, I don't deal with I don't have depression, but that doesn't mean I don't get down.
Exactly.
And I don't want to break things, and I don't want. I don't want to go down to the council offices and blow them up. And
yeah, exactly. And you know what? I love that you said that, because there's this thing that when we're down and feeling shit and actually leaning in our emotions, it's all of a sudden branded depression. It's all of a sudden branded something, when really it's just us going through our emotions, and that is okay.
We're all got emotions, right?
We do, yeah.
And see, men are supposed to be the logical beings, right? Not have emotions. But then again, a couple of shows that I've ran the last couple of weeks has been on men's health.
Right.
And women are supposed to be the emotional being.
Right.
But we all got certain amount of emotions.
We do. We're all human. We do all have emotions, absolutely.
And look, I dealt with my depression, my rejection and insecurity. But rejections is still an Achilles heel to me.
Yes.
Right? It can still raise its ugly head sometimes. No, I don't. That doesn't, but I know how to deal with it. And even my anger and annoyance and everything like that, I know how to deal with it.
Yeah. You have things in place to manage it. Yeah.
Well, at that time, because I was in a wheelchair and I was laid up on the couch all the time, I had a home help, right? When I was angry and everything like that and just ticked off with the whole world, and I wanted to kill the insurance agencies, and I wanted, don't worry.
But that's all your emotions coming up, and you're not knowing how to resourcefully do what you wanted to do. You weren't in that emotional state at that point.
Yeah. So I used to get her to wheel me down to Frankston in a wheelchair.
Right.
I'd take my fishing rods and she used to leave me down there for a couple of hours. I'd be fishing down there, and kids would turn up, right, with their parents, and the parents would put a piece of plastic on a hook and throw the line in, to catch a fish. And I used to call them over, and I used to say, right, gives it here, and I'll rig up the line and everything like that. And I'd rig up their lines and all that and put a bit of bait on them, throw it in, they catch a toadie. The kids were over the moon.
Yeah.
Right? But also, during that time, sitting down on the pier, I used to have a lot of people coming down there that were actually suffering mental health.
Wow.
Right, dealing with depression or, this and that, homelessness, the whole lot. And they see me in the wheelchair, and, like I'm casting out my rod and I'm abusing the fish because it took my bait. And they come sit down and talk to me. Right? And I just sit down and talk with them. And
wow.
Anyway, then when I got out of the wheelchair and my leg was in a brace, I used to go down to Mornington all the time.
Yeah.
I used to be down there nearly every day catching fish.
Yeah.
I caught fish. People would come down and say, can you catch fish down there? And they say, don't ask us. He's the guru. Go and talk. The nickname's Guru Glenn.
Guru Glenn, I love that.
Right? Because, 1 year down there, 33 snapper off the pier.
Wow.
8.79 kilo.
Wow, that's something definitely to brag about, definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, at that time, a mate of mine was a DJ on a morning show up in Mornington, RRP. Double RP. Up in RPP, sorry, RPP.
Yep.
Right, and now John gives me a call and says, Glenn, how would you like to do a fishing segment, half an hour on a Tuesday morning? I said, yeah, right. So I went down there, and it was half an hour fishing with Guru Glenn. I'd done a fishing report and talk about fishing. Anyway, a mate of mine, we were fishing together at Frankston Pier, and I said to him one day, I said, hey, listen, why don't we do a kids clinic?
Wow.
And he said, yeah, why don't you? I said, I'll put it on the radio. And he said, yeah, right. Anyway, we did it. The weekend come, the Saturday or Sunday, whatever it was, come for the do. And it was at Frankston, and it was windy as anything. The waves were smashing over the pier. And I said, oh, no, we're not going to. We had 2 kids turn up. Well, one was one of his son.
Yeah.
So Brian, his name's Brian Rowley Newey. Tarnair was one of the kids and another kid. It was a bit of a flop. Persevered with it. Anyway, so down at Mornington, I saw a bunch of disabilities turn up one day when I'm down there fishing. Had these $5 Kmart rods. The poor ladies, the carers were trying to put them together, falling apart and everything like that.
Wow.
Brought them over and I said, look, I've got some rods in the car because we had them ready for the kids' clinic.
Right.
A week after So I set it up. Now that's 7 years ago.
Wow.
Now that's basically where it all started. Whereas I started an organisation because I had a fishing show called That's the Thing About Fishing.
Yeah.
With Guru, Glenn and friends, right? And then our organisation now is called That's the Thing About Fishing Inc. We're a registered charity.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, when there's no covert around, we do approximately about 300 clinics a year.
Wow.
Almost 3,000 people fishing from mental health, disabilities, youth in trouble, suicide risk, schools, special schools, and like every school holiday, we'd normally, like apart from the last two, we normally put between 5 and 6, 7 school holiday programs together.
Wow, Glenn, that's incredible. So that's incredible. So in terms of your fishing programs that you put together, tell me, what is your highest intention?
The highest intention is to actually build up mentors. Right? We have about 20 odd volunteers. Now, when you look at our volunteers, you think, oh, these are just people that have come from, they're not. They're actually ex-clients.
Wow.
Right, that have actually come to me as a client, right, with mental health problems or disability problems, minor disability problems. They're still full function, but predominantly mental health problems, right, that are suffering and don't know what to do and everything like that. I spend time with them. Right. You never want to be counselled by me because I tell you exactly straight to your face.
I love it. That's what attracted me to you, by the way, just your directness, your forthright. I love it. Love it, love it.
It's black and white.
That's it. No mucking around with Guru Glenn.
And look, the problem is, I think what happens with a lot of things these days, we're too busy to ready to put DDDA, DAA, DHS,
names on everything.
Yeah, on everything.
Names on emotions.
That's right. Except dealing with what I said earlier, with the why are they depressed?
Yeah.
Why are they this way? Why are they that way?
And is anyone giving them the time of day to listen to what they're saying and listen to what they're feeling and maybe helping them with, okay, how can we better manage this? And Glenn, just coming back to what you do with your fishing and with all the amazing stuff that you do. So the purpose of you doing that is to be an ear, to listen to someone, and perhaps in your chats, lead them through what they're going through. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. If you saw the amount of people that we've actually saved from suicide.
Yeah.
Like like people with mental health that have actually, their lives have changed, their disabilities. If you ever come down and watch a disability group, right? So we look at disabilities, people with this, like, and I'm talking cerebral palsies and all that kind of stuff, Down syndrome. We think, right, years ago we had them in homes, in lock-up institutions, but they've got the, like, if you spend time with them, you're actually dealing in their life as well. Our disabilities hate it with a passion if they don't go fishing on their set day.
Yeah.
Right. We do 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday down in Frankston. Hate it if they're not there because it becomes a set routine to them.
Beautiful.
We become, right, part of their life. We become, as what do you say, mentors, leadership.
Yeah.
The people that have actually come to me is with their own problems.
Yeah, but you're fulfilling them as well, because as human beings, we need to feel like we matter. Absolutely. We need to feel that we're significant, and you're giving them that. You're actually filling that cup for them.
You're exactly right. It's something that I taught many years ago. It was called the love languages.
Yeah.
One part of that love language was actually, right, how filling your cup, your bank, your cup. Right, the more you get into your cup, or the more you get into your love bank, the more they can give out as well.
Absolutely.
So that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I love that so much about you and what you stand for and all that you come with, because, we have this society paints this picture, and I'm so passionate about people with disabilities as well, because I've worked in that industry for 20 plus years. And here's the thing, people sort of tend to brand it like, oh, they're people with even autism, that just grates me sometimes when people regard that as a disability, and yet we've so much to learn from each other. It really doesn't matter what we come with. It doesn't matter what our inabilities are. Our inabilities are actually our abilities.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And if you can help someone, as I say to our organisation, yeah, I'm the head and I'm the, like I'm out the front and everything like that. But our organisation is no good without all my volunteers.
Yeah, because they all come with all that experience and the real passion to help.
That's right. Because the thing about it is, it's like everything. People have got special gifts.
They do.
Right?
We all do. Mm.
That's right. And like not one person can be everything.
No.
It's like a relationship, a marriage and everything like that. As a eight-sided thing. Right? Your partner can't fill those 8 sides.
No.
They might, you're lucky if they can fill 4 of them, to be honest. Right? And you've got a good, and that's a pretty good relationship if they can fill 4 of them.
Absolutely.
So with that 8-sided, shape, right, as even in an organisation, you need people to fill each one of those sides.
I love how you put that. We really can't be everything to everyone, and we shouldn't try to be everything to everyone because it'll freaking exhaust the crap out of us and it'll just zap their energy and we won't be able to give anything at all.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, I love what you're saying. And what I'm hearing, Glenn, and what I loved, I think, when I heard your story a while back, I think it was last year or something when we met at that meeting, was that you are genuinely, authentically a leader. Because for me, a leader is not someone who gets given this script and you know what, here, this is what you've got to do, and these are the things that you've got to meet, and just go away and lead. That's bullshit.
Yeah,
For me, a leader is someone who has done the hard yards, someone who is passionate about giving, someone who's passionate about helping people evolve and grow, like fair income, like genuinely, not just because it's their freaking role and their title. And I saw that in you because you have come, like you've endured stuff that I think that we only read in the books or hear on TV or just imagine, you've been there, Glenn.
And it's got me into trouble a lot of times, I remember doing something with Normie Rowe many, many years ago. Drug-proof your kids. And my opinion, right, I've got to say that so you don't get into trouble.
I don't, hey, this is my gig. I'm cool.
Right. But we see, and all good intentions.
Yeah.
Good intentions. You see so many people out there wanting to help someone.
Yeah.
Right. So they go there and they do all these courses and everything like that. They get all these books, they read them all. But unfortunately, a lot of time, 99% of the time, they got their own problems in their own life and they're trying to actually instill into someone's life where they're going wrong, right, because they've read it in a book.
Oh, you've hit the nail on the head. So
look,
totally.
It gets me into trouble so many times. So.
But that's so damn true because, I love what you said there because that comes back to authenticity. So you've got this thing where people aren't walking their talk. They're putting on this mask just for the sake of it because they have to hide behind it, right? And yet their values aren't aligning. What they're feeling, everything's not aligning. And you can tell. And you're right. Just because someone's gone to a course, just because someone's read up, just because someone's done a leadership course doesn't mean they're all of a sudden a leader. It just doesn't happen.
100% agree.
You've got to be able to feel it from here. You've really got to be able to align it, walk your talk and be it. And pretty much, even when you're not where you're meant to be, even at home, you're meant to be doing the same stuff.
Yeah, 100%. I go to a lot of people.
Yeah, and that's what I love about you in that you just say it how it is. And you know what, I'll get into trouble too, Glenn, I'll tell you what, which is why I could never really work for someone for too long because I do speak my mind all the time. And quite often it's this, what we're meant to say, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. At the end of the day, we've just got to say it raw. And this is the way it is. What are we going to do about it?
Yeah, no, I'm exactly like you. I say it as it is.
Yeah.
Bit of trouble. Right.
It is what it is. And
at the end of the day, I said, well, that's my opinion. And now I can, it's like I say to the young people that I'm dealing with, don't try to manipulate me because I was the best manipulator in the world. Nothing that you've done that I haven't done and probably twice as bad.
I love that.
None of your bullshit.
I love that.
If you want my help, I'll help you. But don't waste my time. with your bullshit.
Do you know what? That is so great that you say that, because that builds your credibility, but they trust you because you've been there, and they are going to listen to you. You are going to make an impact on their world because they know that you've been there and you've been straight out with them.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when I worked in the prison system, because I worked for a prison within one of Victoria's largest prisons for 10 years. And it was a male prison.
There?
Hey, no, it wasn't Pentridge.
I think joke. Oh, no, you're too young for Pentridge.
Oh, I think we're pretty much on par with age here, Glenn, just saying.
No.
I just got the Mediterranean skin. And, you know, one thing I remember learning really quickly is authenticity.
Yeah.
Because when I entered that prison and the big door went bang behind me, I was in their space. I was in their home.
Yep.
And I needed to come off my high horse, because often you get people coming in thinking they're better than everybody else, right? And that's certainly not my nature. But the thing is this, it's really important to catch on real quick. For me, I caught on real quick that it was credibility that I needed to build, and to do that, I needed to be freaking honest and straight down the line and just here, this is me.
Yep, no, that's.
And I got to say that worked for me for 10 years beautifully.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever had in a situation where in fact, I felt safer in the prison than I did outside, believe it or not, among all these people who were just human beings and they just behaved badly.
Yeah, no. Hey, listen.
That was it. They just got caught. A lot of people don't, right? So,
that's what I always say.
Everyone's
locked up. They've done something wrong in their life.
That's it. So, and what was wonderful about my journey in the prison was that I learned so much from people because I allowed myself to be authentic and just to be.
Yeah.
And I hear that, and I feel that that's what you're doing, and that's why people are so, I guess, connected to you and so trusting of you, because you are so honest, raw, and authentic.
Yeah, but some people don't like to talk to me because they know I'll tell them straight down their face.
But how wonderful is that when you know where you stand with someone, you know, like I love that. I think that's so cool. And this is what makes a great leader too, because someone who can't accept and is not emotionally intelligent enough to think, oh shit, you know, Glenn reckons I'm this. Okay, done. I've got this. That's great feedback. Glenn, thanks. How can I make this better now?
Yeah.
Rather than going away and crying because Glenn's giving me some feedback and it was honest feedback. It's about building our emotional intelligence. And I think, Glenn, from what I see in the times I've met you and just all that you've done along the way, what you've done is incredible. You've built your emotional intelligence to that level where now you're helping others as well.
Yeah, no, it's true. But, you know, like I think of my community as well. So I try to, as you that on Tuesday nights, we've got our own show. It's called Frankston Community Connect.
Wonderful.
And it's opening up the doors in the whole community, right, for all the services that are actually out there. We don't even know we've got.
No, and for all our listeners and viewers, I think it's really important to jump on that channel, because I've been on it just recently to check it out after we've spoken, after you introduced me to it. And I've got to tell you, wow, just wow, well done.
Yeah, and there's a lot of organisations out here that are actually genuinely out there to help people.
Yeah.
Like you've got mothers helping families in need, you know, like what an amazing group of women, right?
Yeah,
looking
totally.
at the mental health, but also the stuff that they need for the women that are actually in trouble. Right, last week I had a friend of mine, Jamie, who's a Māori, a Maori, right? And he works with a Māori culture, you know, like in that area, teaching the young people all about his culture, right? And the young people back into there, plus men's health. All right, and of course I've interviewed the mayor and I've interviewed
you've interviewed some incredibly powerful people too. Well, by powerful I mean where they're sitting. Yeah.
And that's what I mean. You know, hey, actually, it's even funny. I got a shock because I actually put it out on Facebook the other day that we've got our council elections coming up.
Yeah.
People have asked me to run as a councillor for Frankston.
What a great idea.
No. I'm more dangerous on the outside than I actually would be in these. I'm run by a code of conduct for the council. But I put it out there that I want to interview every single candidate for Frankston.
Wow.
I know every person who's running for Frankston City Council, every candidate, I want to interview them on our show.
That would be fantastic.
It's so important to have our leaders. This is what leadership's all about. Having people trust our leaders.
I love that.
There's so much non-trust into our leaderships, whether government, whether it be local, state or federal government. People have got to see that our leaders in our community are our leaders, and they're there to support us and the people in the community, not just there for their own political gains or their own, putting $28,000 in their pocket each because they don't want to go out and get a real job.
Do you know what? I love what you said there. I really do. And that's just not in government. I think that's every leader.
Yeah.
So Glenn, if I was to ask you, and thanks for sharing that, and I really do, I'm looking forward to those interviews, to be honest. I've loved what you've done so far.
Yeah, they're panicking, actually.
I'm hanging to listen to them. If you could give, I suppose, in your mind, what are 3 leadership qualities that make a leader?
Well, the biggest one is honesty.
Yeah.
Being yourself. And the greatest one, which and that's a hard one, and I mean it is the hardest one, right? Admitting when you are wrong.
I love that you're singing my song. I love that so much.
Yeah.
And why is that the greatest one?
Because no one's perfect.
I love it.
Right? Even it's what I said. A couple of things happened a few weeks ago. I stood my ground on a couple of issues. I won't say them because, right?
Mm.
But I stood my ground because people come up with misinformation, and I stood my ground. And then I got absolutely criticised for what I did.
Mm. And the reason for that is because they didn't like what they heard.
That's right. But 2 things come out of that.
Mm.
I don't believe in some of the stuff that I was wrong, but I had to ring them up and apologise if I offended them. Right? Because they got their beliefs, I got my beliefs.
Mm.
Right? So I rang them up then I sat down and I spoke to a couple of people the other day because I was so peed off. I wanted to go and get an RV, hook up my boat and disappear and never come back again.
Mm.
We all get like that.
Yeah, we do.
But it was like I said on the show the other day, I think it was, that I was over men's health when we were interviewing. I was interviewing a bloke over men's health. That us men, right, we hide everything down. So I don't. I let it out. I might be peed off for a little bit, then all of a sudden I just let it out and I say it straight out.
Yeah.
Right? But I said the problem with me, I have to be, right, people think I'm Jesus sometimes and I walk on water. I tell them I can't walk on water because I'll sink. I know. But I've got to be a chameleon sometimes and it's hard.
Yeah.
So I say to people, I've done the wrong thing. I made a mistake.
Mm.
And if
I love that. And that's a true leader, someone who admits that they've potentially done, they've made a mistake and it's okay. And they're going to learn from their mistakes and just going to move on.
That's right. Because I'm not Jesus. I can't walk on water.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm sick of being a chameleon just to fit in.
I love that.
I know.
I love that.
I've got to say, right, I made a mistake. I'm just human.
That's it.
People just look at me like I'm a human being. I make mistakes sometimes.
That's right. And we all do, Glenn. We all do, no matter who we are, no matter what title or tenure we hold and own, we all do make mistakes. So, Glenn, I just want to say thank you so, so much for your time today. I could sit and talk to you and listen to your stories and all of what you share for hours, for days.
Yeah, thank you.
So I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
What's that?
I thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. I'm honoured. I'm so honoured to be able to chat with you here today and to share all of, what you've shared here today. But more importantly, to validate you and thanking you for being so vulnerable and sharing your story. That's huge. So
honestly.
Yeah, I love that. So thank you so much, Glenn. I appreciate you being on.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.